Okay, here I have this Kriesler panoramic 17, so 17 inch, be it black and white, actually solid state, so that's something. Actually got this off of people that I got a couple of other old portables off out of an old lady's house, and the guy had actually taken this and put it out for, or was going to put it out for curbside collection, which would have been a real waste. And I think he got the date wrong or something, so luckily it didn't go for that. And when I went to pick up some TVs, he said something about it, and I said, oh, you got a red portable. I've got no idea what it is. I thought it might have been one of the solid state ones, or the other possibility would be one of those national TR210s or something. They are quite a common little 12 inch or maybe even smaller 10 inch set or something. So I've never seen one of these Chryslers in red, and I'm not sure I've even seen this particular model of Kriesler. It's a bit different. They did make quite a few different black and white TVs. This one's got like a, well, when you hold it still, it pivots on the base. It's probably getting a bit tight now. Only hassle is the cord's been cut off. I didn't even realise that. But it looks like either they chopped it off, or maybe they did put it out on the street and someone else chopped it off. One of these scrappers or something. But anyway, he did say it was smoking, so that may be why he cut the cord off, to stop anyone plugging it in. Looks like we might be missing a model label there as well. Channel preset for power tune models. Switch off, push and locate, then quarter turn. So maybe there was a remote control version of these, a remote control socket, so there you go. This doesn't have it, but these are, I mean, a black and white sort of medium sized set with remote, that's certainly a rarity. Looks like maybe the old antenna's still intact, so that's something. It's actually got a 300 ohm connector there, if I can get that out. Doesn't look like it wants to come. Oh, but it should be a plug. Yeah, there we go. Old school connector there, and a couple of screws to hook an external one up. But no channels to pick up anyway. We've got vertical hold, horizontal hold, contrast control there. And no screws in those holes. And some screws down the bottom, so maybe it just clips at the top, or maybe I think someone might have taken the screws out and left them out already. These top two holes. And it's actually got Phillips heads on it, so it must be a bit later, mate. This could even be the early 70s. The fact that solid state may well mean that it is. I doubt they would have been making black and white TVs this big after 1975 when Australia got colour, because most people wouldn't touch black and white TVs after that time. But I guess if you want a smaller set for somewhere, these could be the go. Quite a long screw with a washer on it. Not sure if this is an Australian made one. Designed and made in Australia by Kriesler Australasia Proprietary Limited. So it is. Design registration applied for. Oh, well, there you go. I think somewhere around this time they were taken over by Philips. Certainly their colour TVs, even though they were Australian designed and a unique chassis in some of the early ones, they were Philips picture tubes, yokes, degaussing coils, most of the parts, line output transformers, triplers, everything like a Philips K9 and K11 type TVs, and they were designed by Philips, but a uniquely, maybe there is a screw still in there. Oh yeah, there is. They were a unique Australian TV, not the most reliable of things. And yeah, they tell us the 59.1 and 59.2, 3, 59.4 was a pretty bad TV that looked a bit like a Philips KT2, which again wasn't a great TV itself. Something's not too good there, making a bit of a cracking sound. And now I can't get the cover back. Oh, these knobs have come out, that's why. You'd think that would come out. There's definitely no screw in there. That screw's loose. And now I'm kind of stuck in no man's land. They should just... Problem is these back covers are probably brittle as. And Philips were one of the few ones that made a red colour TV. Much like that... I can't remember what it was in the end. Was it a CTX or something chassis? I did have a red version of them once, but only very rare to see red portables. Sanyo did make a few. There we go, that's come out. Ooh, nice cobwebs in here. Now it looks like the antenna thing is going to be a bit of a pain. Does that just come... Oh, you've got to undo the... Ooh, we've got a circuit in the back. Man, it's been a long time since I've seen that. Speaking of Phillips, that was a very Phillips thing to do. I might even be able to set the cover up there. And massive cobweb there. Whoops. I think I'm going to have to remove that. There goes our circuit. Ah, why do they always have to make these things such a pain? They've tied a little thing on there so I can't separate the thing there. They make the cable way too short up here. It's clipped in, and of course the thing breaks off when you... Oh, they're actually moulded on. Ah. Maybe that's how we're meant to sit it. Oh yeah, I've got a full circuit here. Chassis 49.7. And some, giving us some waveforms. Board layout of the parts. There's some probably alignment details for setting the IF and stuff. So we've got BC 148, so those early little, I think they're the little tiny 158s, little transistors and little sort of chunky sort of TO92 case. It's a kind of squared off shorter version. I guess they're not really shorter, they just got short legs on them, I think. What have we got here? We've got a BU 105 horizontal output, an OC 9578 horizontal driver, so some pretty old European type of transistor numbers. I don't really want to cut that little bit if I can help it. I'd like to tie it back up and put it back the way it should be, but I may have to. Maybe that does come apart. Oh, it does come apart. I could have sworn that bit of metal was holding it together, but it wasn't, so that was my fault. It just wouldn't come out, it was so tight. There's an old Plessey speaker in there, so it could well be, I think they were part of Philips as well. But they did have Australian factories. I think Plessey and Roller may have been related or joined up or something at some point. And the Roller speakers are in a lot of things. There's an old OC911 on the back here. Maybe that's a voltage regulator. It looks like someone's put a bunch of diodes in here to replace the bridge rectifier. It says set 35 volt there, 125 volt there. So maybe the smoking something to do with that, but probably not. And yeah, we've got a little chassis label here, chassis number 56010. Tested stamp on the end, 49.7 model number, so they did put a little paper thing in. Looks like a horizontal output on the end, so this chassis looks like we undo a couple of screws. Don't think I'm going to take them right out, or do we? And the chassis should swing down, I think. Is that some sort of... Oh yeah, lift that little spring bit there. Huh, so it's very much like a Philips kind of design. And we've got a cable here to stop it going any further. Oh yeah, it is those little short transistors. I remember those old cases. There are a couple of more modern looking TO92s in there. I just hope it's not the line output transformer or something if it's smoking. Or the power transformer, which, speaking of Kriesler 59.4 chassis, that was common in them. And some of the KT2 Philips with the transformers cooking in them. I doubt it's... What have we got? A mini watt, so yeah, Philips picture tube. Made in Australia. You don't see that very often anymore. So this must have been around the time before the tariffs were taken off, and there was a bit of protectionism for the local industry. And I think that was the early 70s. We opened up to the world and didn't prop up the local industry anymore, so most of that shut down. I mean, if this has got an Australian tube in it, probably most of the parts in it are made in Australia. Not sure if they were making any transistors or semiconductors here. It's got the old yellow sort of tubular capacitors, something like a paper capacitor, I guess the equivalent of a polyester capacitor that they used in the valve radios and stuff in Australia. Is that a Sonar type electrolytic? Sonar brand. Not sure, there's some Elner caps in here. Yeah, the old is it IRC Australia wire wound resistors, so they're still making a bit of stuff here. Component wise. Yeah, I just hope that line out, but it doesn't look cooked from what I can see of it, but I don't know where else he would have been getting smoke from. I guess the only way is to plug it in and see where the smoke comes from. Which is not my favourite way of doing it, but none of the usual smells in there that you'd expect from a cooked line output or something. I don't see any burnt like pads on the board or anything. Sometimes if you get a bad dry joint that's cooked up. Yeah, unfortunately we're just going to have to suck it and see, I think. See if I can get that clamp grommet out of there. Hello, come on. Now let's put this chassis, it doesn't clip in as easily as it unclips. Oh, this case flexes a lot, no wonder. Oh yeah, plenty of length there, beautiful. Yeah, it's a shame the cord's gone. It's nice to get these original old cords because you got that weird textured, as all the Australian ones used to do, this weird sort of textured, fluted outer on them. And of course they were dime a dozen once on old equipment, but now they're hard to get. And it wouldn't look quite as good with a plain grey one or something, but it might have to end up with one of those, if I can resurrect it. Got the old, well, I don't think it's cotton fill, I don't know what that is, almost like paper. I think that's a kind of twisted paper. That didn't untwist it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, it tears like paper anyway, whether it is actual paper. Let's get this on a lead with a terminal block on it. And I guess flick it on and be ready to turn it off straight away. Caution mains voltage under that cover. This is mains voltage under there. I'm not sure why, because I see bridge rectifiers. I doubt it's rectifying the mains. It's got a transformer, so I don't know what that's about. It's got the old colour coding, of course. Black for neutral, red for active, and green for earth, which is now green yellow. I think the EU or someone changed the colour code from the old school way sometime maybe in the 80s, 70s, I don't know. And now they've come up with some really weird colour scheme, I think, because supposedly colourblind people can see it better or something. But it's like grey and black and God knows what. So it's certainly going to be a bit weird if they go to those sort of colours. I know the Americans have some sort of weird, I think it was American, maybe European cords, like IEC cables for computers and stuff. If you cut them open, they've got a weird colour scheme. Okie dokie, let's get ready to abort. Nothing so far. We've got sound. Do we have... Don't hear any horizontal. It doesn't mean there's not something there, but I think the tube just... Yeah, no sign of any picture. Yeah, I think I can smell a resistor or something getting hot, maybe. See if we've got any heaters, or heater, so not colour. Yeah, I can see just the heater for the tube going. Oh yeah, I wonder if it's that 5-volt resistor there. Of course, you can never seem to feel them until you put your hand right on them. Oh, there's one down there that looks rather like it's been hot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely hot. Why your fingers can't immediately feel heat, I'll never know. You always got to burn yourself before you can register. So that resistor, which is on the back here, right there, it's got an electrolytic on one side, does it? Must have more than that. Oh yeah, you can see the joint looks pretty cooked there. Oh, we've got 31 volts. That's a bet it feeds in the horizontal somewhere. It feeds, ooh, it looks like it does, so we've probably got a dead horizontal output somewhere. What is it? Where's the resistor number? It tells you nothing. Oh, I guess we've got to look at that diagram. It's an 8.2 ohm. So this is where the board layout comes in handy, wherever it is. Which is right, is it R162? That's the one, I think. R162. Which I bet's in this horizontal somewhere. Nice to have the circuit handy. No, 155, 154, 150, 160. Where are ya? Was it off a 30-volt rail or something? That's got the old stick rectifier in it by the look of it for the EHT. 91, 139. Some comments it doesn't really tell you where it is. It's a C133L. It's got a D14 feeding in there somewhere. And a D19, a D18 that goes to ground. I'd say diodes are a lot easier to find because they're not D18, 19, it's here somewhere. Ooh, around the horizontal output, that's not what I want to see. Alright. Oh, it must be that one. Was it 162? Yeah, that's it. Those diodes gave it away, just so luckily we looked at the right spot. So, I guess 35 maybe, oh yeah, HT interlock deflection unit. So that removes, so this may be the rail. Through an inductor, resistor, it's getting hot. 2 capacitors, 2 diodes into the locked. One feeds the 550 volts to the tube grid by the look of it. So either these diodes could be shorted, capacitors could be shorted, line output could be shorted. It does fit in the same coil, it does everything here. Goes to the stick rectifier. So I don't think it's, it is probably connected to the horizontal output. It says 31 volts. Where does the 31 volts actually... Well, we've got this 35 connection, which could go... Oh, here we go. Well, I guess that is the 35 source. Doesn't really show it, but is it a waveform or is it a voltage? What is it? Must be a connection. It's in like a diamond shaped box. There's a lot of 35 volts in around. We've got a hexagonal box, a square box. See, when you don't know what the thing in the circuit is here, that's really annoying. 15 volt source, 35 volt, 125 volt. Oh, okay. So maybe that is a waveform or something. Then it goes this little 35 in a circle, which I guess is the 35 volts, because that's our HT interlock, which may be something that unplugs when we pull the yoke out. It does have 2 pins on the yoke or down near that resistor. Here somewhere. Well, I guess we can start by maybe checking those diodes if I can find them, and those caps. Oh, at least it's not heat, not a smoking line output transformer yet. That's something. Really just a matter of beeping this out on continuity and see if we can find a short somewhere. So I guess that's probably ground, isn't it? There's our resistor again there. 0.1, 0.1, across that cap. So it's definitely something low to ground. What does it go through there, I wonder? Not likely to be that. I guess what I could do is disconnect that resistor, since I'm going to have to resolder it anyway, because the top pin's been cooked, and we'll find which side. Well, I guess if it's going to be on the secondary side. It's not going to be on the 35 volt side, because that won't make that resistor hot. So which capacitor is that one? I need to refer to our diagram on the other side. 133. So actually, at least you can follow 133. So 133 is on the other side. So we don't need to care about that one. It's this side here that we need to worry about. And that's a board diagram. It's actually handy because it shows you all the connections. So it comes along, you've got a C120, then it goes straight into D19, which is changing to D18. Let's see. So we've got this thing along here. You've got a capacitor to ground. This must be one of the diodes. Yep. So it's D19 here. Not shorted. Not shorted. I think that's the next diode. I guess we should check on the other side. Not shorted. Oh, come on. That's pretty shorted. So that is that side of D19. According to this, it's only hooked to the other diode though, but I can see that's the diode. What's this thing? That may be connected to the lock, so that's not a good sign. But it's quite likely it could be the horizontal output transistor yet. Yeah, the two diodes joining the pin 4 of the locked. That is, oh, that's ground via a capacitor, and it's also, if that BU 105 is shorted, that'll go to ground quick smart. So that'll be the BU 105 over here, I would assume. And yeah, Philips BU chips, transistors, not known for their reliability. Oh, this is a Toshiba though. Oh, someone's put a 2SC643 in it, so already shows that the reliability of it was not very good, because someone's already replaced it once. Yeah, if it was still the BU transistor, you'd probably assume it just died for no reason, like they tended to do. So the black wire was closest to me, and the green wire closest to the locked. Now what's the bet we've still got a short here somewhere? Now, is that the base emitter? I can never remember, but either way that's cactus, I would say. Good, now what have I got in the way of... I don't think I've got any TA3 horizontal output transistors anymore. I don't know if I've even got a 2SD350 anywhere. But it doesn't mean I can't put a flat pack in here, I guess. Something that's a million times overrated for a black and white TV. I guess I should actually, if I pull this transistor out, I'm going to check the voltage. Would be a smart move, just to make sure our 35 volts is actually 35 volts. Guess you never know. Certainly no point putting a new one in if the voltage is high. Because this is always the hassle with these things, is knowing why they actually blew. Oh, we've got insulating washers falling off the back. Nice. Always annoying when things where there's no heatsink paste and there's a bit of... Oh, it's got one of these little lead. It's got the mica washer. I think these are, yeah, little lead sheet. Why on earth they had that, I'll never know, but some of these things used to have that. Where did that insulator go? Did it actually make it out of here? Probably down inside the line output transformer housing or something annoying. Should be another one of these little white plastic washers that dropped off. I can see it right down in the bottom of the line output transformer box. So now I'm probably going to have to take that off to get it out again. Well, that doesn't want to come out. I nearly had it out. I think I have to take the cover off. What a pain. If I might even have another one somewhere, I might just leave that one in there and replace it. But what I want is to get these, but not have that touching anything. I think we'll try and fire this chassis up with the leads hanging there. Ah, this case is so flimsy, I can't get these things in there. Okay, so we know where that resistor is. Yeah, that goes. Let's fire it up and see what voltage we get on here. Should be 35 that side by the look of it. Perfect, and it says 31 this side, but we don't have a load, so probably a bit higher. That's fine. 2SC 643, that probably is like a colour TV horizontal output. What was the original? BU105, did I say? BU105. What does our little data book say about those? Come on, where's the BUs? BU... God, did they really make that many of the BU transistors? BU105, silicon NPN TV horizontal output, 1500 volts, 2.5 amp. It's a BU205, 208. Yeah, 2SD350 of course would be more powerful, 208. You definitely wouldn't put another BU in there if you could help it, because it'd be as unreliable as the original. But a 2SD350 is a pretty bulletproof transistor, unless you feed it bad stuff. Well, never in my life do I think I'd be hard up for something equivalent to a 2SD350. But I think, oh look, I've still got an MJ, I don't want that. I think one of these could be what I want. I think 1114s or AWA or something regulators. Oh, actually, look at the BU326 while I'm at it. I think they were using switch modes though, so probably not as high voltage. BU326, yeah, 800, 375 volts, 6 amps. Thought that was the case. Yeah, never. I think I do have an old AWA chassis somewhere, which may well have one of these type 2SC 1114. Pretty sure that one was a regulator. Triple, which is probably why I kept it, I don't know. I'm surprised I kept any of them. 111, I used to have thousands of the things. 11114. That's only 300 volts, 4 amps. So they're useless. But this C1577. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's the old one. That's my last hope. To a C1577. Yeah, never thought I'd be short of a TO3. No, it's another regulator, but look at 500, 400 volts. Let's see, I wonder what the voltage in a little black and white is anyway. But it is horizontal output, so it could be still pretty high. Damn it. So that can all go back in the drawer. Okay, found this finally under the bench. What it is, I think, a rat-eaten by the look of it, AWA KRN chassis. It's a rather filthy one. Or AWA Thorn. Now if we undo that line output, we should be able to, I think we just unclip these boards, don't we? Ah, lovely. Look at that for a design. Mitsubishi made chassis. And we have a 2SC 937 made by Hitachi. I bet you it's got a diode or something, and I don't know if those damper diodes matter in this case, but it's bound to have an integral something in there. Some of them had a resistor in them to base or something. Base emitter resistor. Let's see, C937. Well, maybe not. 1200, 500 volts, 2.5 amps. So it's a little lower voltage. It's equivalent to BU 204 to 206, but that should be plenty. Oh, 204 to 206. Oh, that was a 105, so 205 might be an upgraded version. It doesn't say anything about diodes or anything. So, oh well, this old chassis, I guess we've got to check it's actually any good. This TV was in an abandoned house and rotted away. Cabinet on it from rain and stuff where the building was falling to bits. But oh yeah, there's the diode on the outside there anyway. We've got an external damper diode, so that would probably preclude it from having an internal one. And we've got nothing, and capacitor charging, so that is probably a good one. Oh, one thing I didn't check was, is it the same pin out, but I don't remember there being any TO3 horizontal outputs that were different, but I guess it's always possible. Now if you get the base and emitter mixed up, probably just won't run. Oh, I wonder if I can use one of these. It's got a couple of plastic insulators of a similar sort. I might just leave that other one where it is if one of these fits. And not worry about it. I bet they're different, but they might do the job. Man, this has got some heat transfer paste on it. I don't think Mitsubishi were ever stingy with that. It's gone a bit flaky though by the look of it, so it might have to be replaced. It's got one of those ring things on it. There you go. I don't know what that lead. That chassis finally came in handy. I should really strip some of the boards off that and chuck the main bit of metalwork away, I think. Get rid of that lump of insulation muck. So, I don't think there's any point, I don't know what that lead thing's meant to do. Is there any point in that? I don't think there's any point worrying about the other insulation washers at all, but that is different a bit. It's got the longer bit that goes through the metalwork around the screw. I do have some somewhere, but remembering where I've seen them, transistor insulators. That's what I used to keep these things. That's the same part. Well, that solves my problem, I think. I don't fancy going on a fishing expedition for that thing or unscrewing all the case. I can float around there, especially at the moment. Let's actually see if this thing runs before we get too excited. That should fit through there. Well, the next question is, does it go through the mica washer? Yes, it does. Excellent. I'm just going to leave all that original. Which side was the screw on? On the inside, I think. Leave all the original heatsink paste on there. They shouldn't run very hot in these things anyway. But the other one didn't have any paste on it, so could have been the cause of its demise. Probably not, but where's that other washer? The fact someone changed it without heatsink paste may have killed it, but I mean, it's only a black and white TV. It shouldn't run that particularly hot, I wouldn't have thought. Still, it's always a good idea to have heatsink paste. I don't know why you wouldn't put it on there, but maybe the old one didn't have it, so they just thought, oh well, Do the same with the new one. I personally would go, well, I don't really care if it's got it on it or not, I'm going to put it on there because it makes sense to transfer as much heat out of the transistor as possible. I can't think of any situation where it would be bad for the TV to have heatsink paste, but someone could probably come up with a reason. But yeah, normally semiconductors, you want them as cool as possible. The more heat that's not in them and is in the heatsink around them, the better. Now, which order do I say those wires were in? I think the green was at the front, wasn't it? I guess, can I tell which is base in the middle? Yeah, I can. Simply by measurement on the diode range, because the base will have a forward reading to both other pins. That's 0.4 to there, 0.5 to there, with the positive lead on it, and the emitter will be open. The emitter goes to ground by the look of it, would have to. BU105, the emitter, here it goes to ground, and the base particularly will go to that inductor that comes through the drive transformer. Okay, got the transistor installed, and I'll give it a quick flick on, and I can hear horizontal running, so let's see what it does. Definitely a horizontal squeal there. Saw a bit of dust moving on the tube, so I assume that means there's some static there. Still not seeing a picture, which, oh, here we go. Ooh, that doesn't look too good. We're down in size, and possibly some other issues, but is that because someone's messed with it? There's also a line there, so I might have to get the pattern generator onto that, because it's possible there's some sort of horizontal linearity issues or something. Let's be careful of that tube sticking out the back. And now I've got the power off. Let's just have a feel of it. Not hot. Now the other thing is I was going to measure that resistor, because if that's been cooked to the point of smoking, there's a chance that it's gone high and we don't actually have the voltage we want there. And it's still about 8.2 ohms. Let's just measure if that's 31 volts there. It's a little low. What's the 34 doing now? 35, that's still good. So it's possible something's pulling a bit too much current there. We do have a height adjustment there. That was contrast. Now it could be something to do that the horizontal holds so far out. Can't tell on the snow. That can cause weird things like that. Or the vertical hold could cause lines and weird things on the TV. That's where you really got to have a signal. I need to strip the wire on this. This is for the standard balance of this sort of TV, but one of them I got the leads ripped off completely. And this one that's seen better days, it's lost a terminal. So these were getting rare after the mid-90s to ever need these things even. So I've got that attached to the 300 ohm input. I'll try and get this back in. Nice little connector. Okay. To tuned in by the sound of it. I could do with some cleaner in it. Jesus, slow to come up. Another sign that something could be wrong. Come on, Mr. Rasta. Ooh. No picture. Is that the... Oh, the contrast is on the back, I think. Oh, we've got retrace there. Tuner's dicky, I'd say. May have a hold issue. That did look half decent there for a second. be have faulty caps and all sorts of stuff in it, who knows. Well, is that the contrast? Yep, let's put that on flat out. There's the vertical hold. Possibly the horizontal oscillator's running away a bit there. But small raster does suggest power supply regulation issues. What pattern are we on? Let's get rid of this silly bars and stuff. Let's go to bars and at least I know we're not on weird dots or something. If it did sync before, it doesn't want to do it now. That was the bars. Looks like there's a video there. Yeah, we don't seem to have much in the way of sync. Almost looked like it was going to lock in. So yeah, not a real happy TV by the look of it. Get that tuned in for the best sound. Yeah, no, there's something not too good there. No idea what that weird line is down the middle, but it doesn't seem to alter regardless of anything. Well, it does a bit with the brightness, but that's not surprising. Contrast and brightness don't do anything, which often, if it's a voltage regulation issue, you would expect the brightness to affect the picture size. Don't think anything smells abnormal or anything. Horizontal output transistor isn't hot. Ooh, it's got a bit of warmth. What is that one? Is that the regulator? I think there was another one on this panel too. Yeah, there is. It's warmish. OC911. That's definitely an old thing. Remove picture tube socket printed board before swinging chassis out to service position. Well, a bit late to do that now. Remove right hand loose and left hand base screws and swing out chassis motors to remove the chassis completely. Do not operate chassis without all earth braids correctly connected. So that rail was a bit low. Let's see what it says there. What does it say? 31 volts here across that on the other side of that resistor. So it's got a couple of capacitors there which could be dodgy, I guess. That may cause a low voltage there. What have we got here? Is that my imagination? Oh, we've got a couple of massive dry joints there. Just maybe a couple of poorly soldered joints. Something about horizontal linearity. think they're just a little poorly soldered. Maybe I should resolder the joint on that resistor too. Don't think it's going to make any difference, but there's sort of dry joints everywhere in this thing, or potential dry joints. Often that was the way with these early circuit boards, they weren't soldered the best. They probably made connections alright, they just didn't look very good. Where's our resistor? Yeah, that joint definitely iffy. I guess the next thing will be just to poke around with the ESR meter quickly, because we don't know the condition of any of the stuff in this set. They're probably all good, but some could be well and truly cooked. 0.12, so it's like new. That's another one there, I think. 8.9, that's not so good, but I think that was a 4.7. 4.7, yeah, getting up a bit in reading. That may not be the problem. Is that capacitor there? Yeah, on the other side of the resistor. So that feeds that. So we're definitely we've got 130 volts. That'll be something to measure, I think. 125 volts. Is that coming out of the line output? I think it is. Where does it go? It goes to the video amplifier. That'd definitely be worth checking. That comes out of a D20. And yeah, not a lot of diodes in here, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. It should be around here somewhere. 19, 18, you think 20 would be nearby, wouldn't you? D16, D17, D12, D30, oh D20 is way over here. Because it comes via links and stuff, okay. So it's that C120 there. Oh, but it'll be after the diode. Is that an electrolytic? C120. How can I see the diode? D20. C119. C120, yeah, 22160 electro. Really? Doesn't look like a place to be an electro, but I think that's across here. What I should really do though, I can see the 130 volts now. I should have really checked that there was no voltage there. So that's saying there's 130 volts before it's even rectified. Oh well. Let's try it. Turn that audio off. Earth to 130 volts. I've only got 107. Now where did I say we were? That's the 31 volts. Yeah, 29 roughly. It's not that far out. If the 130 is low though, only 104. 35 there. Spot on. 15 volts there. That's actually 16 volts. 15 and 16. I've got a 7 volt here, which is 6.91, so you can't complain about that. 125 volts here. Yeah, 101. So that could be causing lack of stuff, lack of height, retrace lines, etc. I'm going to set 35 volts, but that's pretty close. I could tweak that up ever so slightly, I guess, but it's 34.8, no point. I don't like that our 31 is down, but whether that's leading to that, you wouldn't think that cause 130 to be 104. And yet that resistor, 8.2 ohm it should be, that measures somewhere around there. 9.1. Don't know, is that enough to put it out that much? The fact that it's been cooked probably doesn't help. So it's worth a try. Not sure if I've got a 5 watt 8.2 anyway. I don't know if I've got... I used to have some 5 watt resistors. What did I do with them? I reckon I would have kept some. Used to have a good collection of new and used. I used to salvage a few years ago. Salvage some second hand ones. Because they're always good for projects and stuff. Oh, it's still bloody hot. I wouldn't think that's from running, I think that's from me soldering it, but let's measure it out of circuit. Seems hotter than just soldering. Oh, that's measuring 8.5 out of circuit. That's what I thought I'd measured before, something like that. Can't see any obviously cooked electrolytics. Ooh, we've got a nasty old reefer capacitor down there. That's in that where that 240 volt cover is, so that probably wants snipping out and tossing before it goes bang. So one of that wasn't smoking. If anything's going to smoke around here, it should have been that. 5 watt 8.2 ohm. I can try it, I don't know if it's going to make any difference. Now, it's also possible that something else in the horizontal is loading the horizontal down, like a dodgy line output or something. Pretty unlikely, I would think, but you never know. But at least if that's out of my mind. But it's possible this rail's low because of something loading it down. I'm not sure I fancy spending ages trying to track down some obscure fault in a black and white TV. It might not take ages, but let's... I guess I might as well leave the leads on it for now because I might want to take it back out. Let's have a look. No, still 29 volts. 34.6. I wonder if I should just tweak that up ever so slightly. I don't think it's going to do much. But it's always worth a try. Just get all the voltages set so you're not second guessing things like that. Ah, wrong one. I want the 35 volts. Oh, son of a... I don't want to short it out though. Hey, it's back up to 34.8 now. Let's see if it does regulate. Yeah, it's going down. Oop, 37. I don't want that high. Come on, back down, you little... Let's go a little higher. 29.2, so it hasn't really made any difference. 130 volts is 106, is slightly higher. Hasn't made any noticeable difference. Oh, well, at least we haven't lost sync now. We can possibly have a little bit more width. What does worry me is that someone's been tweaking the pots. Quite common for people to get in old TVs and fiddle around with them and make them far worse than the original problem. Although, I'm not sure that's much wider or not, but I'll turn the sound off. It's not like it's overly ripply, but there is a bit of a bend. So the pitch is tilted, which is a bit of a worry. Normally that would only be the yoke that could cause that. But yeah, not knowing the history of these things is never good. Certainly lacking in the contrast department a bit. That's how, so horizontal doesn't even lose sync at all. I'll turn it. Vertical does. At least we know that's working. fact that voltage is low though would suggest something's wrong in it. This is where I'd normally have a mirror set up, and there is one around here but it's vanished. Oh, there it is. There's just junk in there everywhere. Just half annoying. Now where I saw a video amp, vertical height looks like it's there. Oh yeah, we can tweak the height up, no problem. Almost looks like a working TV with that tweaked up. Where did I set that video amp thing? Because I suspect that might have been. Yeah, much better high contrast picture when we do that. Again, and maybe I'm just compensating for another fault. Tuning is not the best. A lot of interference in there for some reason. So it looks a bit better with the raster tweaked up a bit, but still lacking width. And a bit clearer video there now. I thought there was some retrace before, but doesn't, no sign of it now. But that lack of raster's not good. Very weird. What happened to that line we had in the middle of the screen? There it is, that little weird. Quite a chunky edge to it. Oh yeah, we've got a bit of a linearity issue for sure. I wonder if someone's been tweaking that. One thing I never thought about, I wonder if horizontal linearity would affect the width. Never underestimate it with these old sets. Oh yeah, it definitely affects the width. Well, sort of. Ooh, now we've lost horizontal sync. Oh man, what is going on here? Great, now I don't have a test pattern to compare it to. I think let's just go around in circles. Damn, we've lost sync again. But that might be to do with temperature as well. So it shows how much time you can waste messing around with these things.